Another day, another Sony. This is a Sony ICF6700. Looks similar to the 6800, but this is a poor relation. This is a dual conversion. No synthesizer in this one. A straight out dual conversion with a digital frequency readout. I've whipped the back off it and had a quick squiz around inside just to make sure it hasn't been interfered with. As you know, if it's been buggered around with anybody, I prefer not to actually have anything more to do with them. If you don't know what you're doing, you can create more faults, and after a while it just becomes ridiculously complicated to track them all down. So the first thing I'll do, I'll power it up. I haven't powered it up yet, so I'll power it up and we'll see what we've got and what we haven't got. So we've got FM band here. Frequency display is working. Audio sounds pretty good. And 100 down to 108 down to should be 88, I would think. Yep, 88 megs. Actually down to 87. Medium wave. That's the RF gain. That's the RF gain, but correctly, but it's actually working.
Tracking distance and a custom.
What have we got there?
From the 22nd of March, that was the last time I was at Hatfield Raceway actually, so speaking in today, I am in Black Charm.
Well, the wide and narrow filter's working. There's no difference in tone or pitch between upper sideband and lower sideband, so we've got a problem there. I think I said the RF gain's obviously working. Don't know what's going on there, so we've got a problem with the VFO and shortwave. Classic case of Sony. See that? 89 to, yeah, it's erratic. So I don't know with this model, I don't know whether this predates the 6800, was later than the 6800, and if so, did it use the same random batch of unreliable transistors? That's a classic case of the frequency counter not getting enough signal. Now, because this one doesn't have a synthesizer in it, this will just be a simple frequency counter that just simply reads, well, presumably the frequency of the first VFO minus the first IF, which again I'm not sure what that is. I'm assuming it's 10.7 megs. So it doesn't matter, irrespective of what shortwave band we're on. We've still got a dodgy frequency display, and presumably we won't have any reception on the shortwave. Normally most sets with a synthesizer actually mute the audio. I'll just put an arrow on this thing. Let's see what we can come up with. So I'm going to poke a signal into it. No, dead. Dead as a wooden rattle. There's just nothing there. There's nothing peeking up on the pre-selector, so I'm unsure whether that's working. So at this point we know that the lights don't work, the frequency counter. Now it's sort of reading something. As I said in the previous videos, dodgy transistors, or at a stage with not quite enough gain, generally become extremely temperature conscious. It could work some days and not others, but that there is definitely a problem. Your meter's working fine, no dial lights, on off switch is fine, and the bass works, and the treble. So basically these are the faults to be fixed with this one. Yeah, there's just nobody home with that frequency display. I'll just let it warm up for a short time and we'll just see if it does come right. It's actually making a little bit more sense now, but it may not even be the frequency display. It could be just randomly counting because the local oscillator's not working. I guess the next thing to do would be to have a search on the internet, see if we can come up with a circuit diagram for this thing. I'm not sure what's in this one. Let's have a quick look in the back of it. And oddly enough, it uses, similar to the 6800, it uses the same pre-selector front end, which is a bit weird. I would have thought that National Panasonic managed to track a dual conversion superhet, so I'm unsure why Sony did that. In fact, looking at the unit, the pre-selector unit, it looks identical to the 6800 one. Let's have a look in the back here. There are certain similarities I can see already. Let's move this around. I'm trying to improve my camera skills, just in case somebody out there watches my videos. So our audio board is very similar to the 6800. In fact, I would almost call it identical. The circuit board though is radically different. There's no similarities there whatsoever, and it's sort of a bit of a mismatch. We've got a mismatch, I should say. We've got a tuning capacitor there that's sort of hung out in the middle of nowhere. Don't actually like the way that's mounted at all. In fact, that's all on a bit of an angle. I don't know whether it's supposed to be like that or whether it's bent. There's no sign of damage there at all. So this might be a mission to get apart. It always pays when you get something into the workshop to spend a few minutes actually figuring out what's working and what isn't, rather than just instantaneously start ripping it apart. The only reason I pulled the back off it first was just to make sure that nobody had been in here. You know, the internet, every man his dog has got modifications and all sorts of weird things that many of them are technically unsound. Here's a power supply there. I'm just running it off a little power supply box here. That the only reason I use that, it only supplies a couple of 100 milliamps, which makes it almost impossible to damage anything if you accidentally short it out when you're working on it. It does happen. Even, you know, I've been doing this for most of my life, fixing stuff for people, and you know, you never stop making mistakes. Periodically you'll short something out with a meter probe, with a scope probe, whatever, But no, that looks fairly intact. There's some mighty fine soldering on this. This is a lot better quality manufacturing than that 6800, I can tell you. This is almost getting into surface mount. I know it isn't, but those tracks are pretty fine in some places. But it's still the same crappy phenolic PCB material that lifts tracks without any problem if you're not careful with the iron. That there is the same pre-selector exactly as the 6800, but I note the gear drive slightly different, well, radically different, and it's got a flywheel tuning which feels really smooth and really nice. So that's a quick appraisal of the 6700. I really don't know how poorly or how good these things go. I can't imagine them being all that great as far as drift is concerned. It being dual conversion, it may have good image rejection ratio, and knowing Sony be as sensitive as, like, it's probably far too sensitive, but sensitivity is easy to get. It's more important things such as image rejection, dynamic range, stability. You know, there's nothing worse than a radio that you've got to continually fiddle with the tuning to keep it on the station. It's sort of like old black vinyl records. When you sit there and listen to one, it would play fine. The minute you went outside with a bit of background music, it would start jumping a groove. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Drive you bloody mad. But anyway, that's the first look inside, or for me at least, a 6700. I thought this one might be quite nice to add to my Sony collection. So like the 6800, I'll do the best I can with it, and we'll see what we get on. But the next thing, as I say, I'll download oh, there's the frequency counter module there. Yeah, there it is there. In fact, that's identical too to the 6800. I'm not sure what the chip is that they use. Presumably it would be programmable in some way, that it would be able to you know, subtract different IF frequencies or stuff like that. I have no idea, but right, I'll go and find a manual for this and have a bit of a study of it, and I'll get back to you.